Come to CVS for immunity support. From hand wipes to vitamins that are third-party tested. Plus free flu shots for the whole family. Visit CVS today. No-cost flu shots with most insurance. Restrictions apply. Visit CVS.com and CVS.com/tested for details.
This is the sound of regular water droplets. This is the sound of vitamin water droplets. Regular water, vitamin water. Regular water, vitamin water.
Hey, come on now.
Vitamin water. It has vitamins, but also parties. Copyright 2020, Glasso.
Warning.
This show contains mature content. Listener discretion is advised.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
One angry New York City Puerto Rican decided to start a radio show, determined to piss the world off by shoving a mirror in front of society's face. He kicked them in the balls.
What are you? Who are you?
This is the Crotch Shot Radio Show. Crotch Shot Radio Show.
This is not a test.
Hello?
Yeah, hold on.
This is a broadcast transmission.
We're going to stay on the air.
And now, the Whippy.
Welcome to the Crotch Shot Radio Show, where we kick the issues in the balls. We're on an active war against bullshit. We would do anything and everything to expose bullshit. The ends sometimes justify the memes. So if you're angry and want the truth exposed, and strap in and prepared to be shocked. This is Smash Mouth Talk. If you can't accept that, then fuck off. I'm your host, Louis B. I takes no bullshit from nobody. I actually expose the bullshit of society and chop it up into easy to digest chunks for you. Today will not be any different. Today I'm actually coming back to a topic that I have not spoken about. Well, I have spoken about it. I haven't dedicated an entire show to this in a while, since January of 2017, but apparently the left can't seem to drop it. The left can't seem to get the hint that this is the line that no one will cross. I am, of course, talking about pedophilia. I spoke about this topic back in 2017 when the left was trying to normalize pedophilia. And I'm just fucking sick of it. But I am not alone in this topic to tackle this. I am joined with this lovely guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you statesman, researcher, scholar, a uniter within the patriot movement, one of Antifa's most hated foes. I proudly give to you Gabriel Brown.
What's happening?
What's up? What you think of your intro?
It's definitely interesting at the start, and I think we'll fine tune everything. It's a good start. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, like I said,
I definitely do.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, you were.
Yeah, we like, honestly, what is the disconnect? Leave children alone.
You would think.
Children are not sexual. If anything is not a sexual object, children are not sexual objects.
Well, to sane, rational people, yeah, you're right. but we're not dealing with either sane or rational people.
Mm-hmm.
We're dealing with predators. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, there's a lot of these predators throughout our society, and they have figured out ways to, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, description, I guess, camouflage their intentions.
Mm-hmm.
And they have sought out to infiltrate various institutions within our society, as well as movements or groups, and they're using all of those things as shields to protect the reality that these are predators. It has nothing to do with these institutions per se.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could talk about the church, schooling, because as you know, there's a lot of teachers out there who unfortunately have engaged in sexual misconduct of their student base.
Mm-hmm.
You got teachers, you got people who, in I don't know, like I said, in religion, they're priests that are taking advantage of choir boys.
Yeah.
You have people who work, I heard at Disneyland, who got caught that have let's just say, a not so wonderful past of sexual misconduct with children, and they're dressing up as the costume characters, and which is really, I gotta tell you, it saddens me to even think about this topic in a lot of ways, because these children should not be hurt. No. And they are. Their lives are being wrecked. And they unfortunately, they themselves might reenact the very thing that was done to them towards others when they grow up. And it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
There are more pedophiles out there than people realize, and the evidence is overwhelming when you start collecting it.
Oh, yeah.
And you start seeing it for what it is, and you realize it's not just isolated individuals. Sure, there are individuals involved with this, but there are individuals involved with this on higher, like, echelons or levels of involvement that have serious influence on politics, economics, business, you name it, media. And the evidence is overwhelming. And they have their networks, and people have been exposing us for a long time. And very few people are willing to listen because the topic is just so squeamish and disturbing for many people to think about.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of amazing. The reason why I'm bringing this up, and a lot of people have already brought this up, and it's a good sign that people just got snapped awake with this, and like, what the fuck is this movie that came out on Netflix called Cuties? If no one's heard of this movie, it's about this. It's a French film about 11-year-old girls twerking. And if you don't know what twerking is, it's basically dancing like a fucking stripper, shaking your ass and vagina in a sexual way, to inspire sexual feelings. That's what twerking is for. I don't care. It's not it's not ballet. It's not salsa. Like salsa, look, salsa is sensual, but not sexual.
Yeah, you're more familiar with that topic per se, as far as I'm not as familiar with salsa.
Yeah, I mean,
but I imagine it's a form of dance that
it is.
Adults are probably involved with it more. I mean,
as a kid, my mom would give me dance lessons, but there was no gyrating of the hips or the pelvis.
I'm sure you weren't wearing clothes that was ultra revealing either.
Yeah, I wasn't dry humping my mother while she was teaching me. Their turns, it's expressive with your body, but you're not sexual, even though it is designed to attract the opposite sex, but in a not. I mean, I don't want to say.
Is it kind of like square dancing in a way?
Not quite. Not quite because it's
but
more,
a little bit more romantic.
Yes.
Component to it.
Yes.
Do you know why I bring up square dancing? Because there's really nothing sexual about that
Right.
that I am aware of. But it is a form of dance, and I mean they taught that to us in school.
Right.
You know, people used to do that. I mean, it was a harmless, form of dance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only reason to bring that up. I mean, obviously they're completely different styles of dancing, but there's no harm in it. Is what I'm trying to get across here. So that's why I was trying to ask you that.
Exactly. And I mean, when I first when I was first talking about this this topic, this was back in January of 2017. It was when that article by Salon came out about the virtuous pedophile.
Yeah.
About
I remember that creep.
Yeah, that guy with like no hand and shit. And he's like, "Oh, I find little girls attractive. I just will never harm them." Like, dude, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, we're so concerned with locking down people who might have some mysterious ching chong flu. And I'm probably going to get kicked off of TikTok just for saying that. I'm sorry.
Oh, we're on TikTok again?
Yeah, we're on TikTok.
Yeah, they're definitely going to kick me off.
They're going to kick me off for just
I just
for saying
expect it at this point. It's par for the course at this point. We'll just have to count how many times you get kicked off.
Yeah, hopefully that changes when Oracle takes over. Because Oracle bought TikTok, and now the CEO of TikTok, Oracle, is a Trump supporter. So,
perfect.
Yes.
So if I call TikTok owned by a certain group of people from a certain country, once Oracle takes over, we won't get kicked off. Is what you're saying?
Hopefully not. I mean, in theory. But look, back to the topic at hand here. Like this Salon article, this guy is talking about how who the hell? Oh, okay. I'm getting a phone call. I can't take this now. Like they talk like, and they scrubbed this article. I can't find this article anymore.
Maybe the Wayback Machine. If you have the original link, you can go to the Wayback Machine. And you could probably locate if somebody made screenshot would be proper terminology. Somebody recorded the existence of that link.
Yeah.
At that time in history, on internet history, you will be able to locate the original article.
Okay. Well, anyways, I found it on Breitbart. Why Salon's virtuous pedophile is not virtuous. Okay. Well. Whatever.
So it sounds like it's their take on the article rather than the but they might link to the article. So if you can copy and paste that link into the Wayback Machine, you might be able to find the original content.
Okay, found it.
So give that a shot.
Wayback Machine. Yeah, because of course they scrubbed that shit. Because there was another one where there was one of their writers was saying that he was also a virtuous pedophile. And I mean,
so wait. So you're telling me there's two of them now?
Yeah. There was two articles. There was two articles from what I remember, and they scrubbed the fuck out of both of them when they realized, how
the envelope had been pushed a little too far off the cliff.
Yep.
Because obviously it appears to me, at least, I could be wrong, but I'm just going to say, sounds like this article written by this virtuous pedophile was an attempt, a poor attempt, to normalize the behavior of pedophilia. And I'm sure it got a lot of backlash, which I would expect it to. And obviously, because it got backlash, they had to retract themselves and wait for another moment in history to try to push the same agenda once again later.
Yeah.
Because obviously at that time, the people weren't ready to be indoctrinated into that, from what I gather.
I can't even find out the fucking Wayback Machine.
There you go. It sounds like it's been erased from existence.
It's been erased from fucking
As if it's the only place it exists is in our minds now.
Yeah.
But like, I know what you're talking about. I know it existed.
Yeah.
Because I had seen it. I mean, there might even be screenshots of, like, parts of the article in existence out there. Yeah. But that just goes to show you how pervasive this agenda is.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, it's getting more and more prevalent. I mean, they keep pushing it further and further. And who the fuck is co-signing this? Like what happened in California? They practically legalized it in California. Like I don't understand.
Shocking.
I don't understand the rationale behind it. I don't you can't, like, honestly, I can't even think of a libertarian stance on why you would legalize that. I can't think.
Unfortunately, there are people who would call themselves libertarians or anarchists that actually would probably make arguments for why this behavior is acceptable.
Yeah, I mean,
even though I would not personally, but I think the writings of Hakeem Bey, for example, I think he was either a pedophile or advocated for positions that were pretty friendly to pedophilic behavior. It's been a long time since I even examined that. But that just goes to show you there will be people who use legitimate philosophical ideas for, I guess, nefarious purposes.
Right.
I don't know how else to describe it because it's pretty nefarious behavior. In my opinion,
I can't understand the rationale behind it. In fact, let me play some of the
I guess I'll let you play it, but I was going to say I guess the argument is, well, the child owns himself because the parents must be like the authoritarian statism or something. I forget what the arguments or why it would be acceptable, but I think it along similar lines to that, which. This is really crazy stuff, but
it's disgusting.
It is, disgusting. And I mean, I also will say this: there's obviously something going on at a low scale, like low-level offenders to high-level institutional people, like in the entertainment industry with Hollywood and places like that. So there's clearly a spectrum here on the clientele and the people who are pushing this. And there's obviously reasons why this is being pushed, whether it's for sadistic purposes of sexual misconduct to, I don't know, maybe the purity of the soul of a child. Maybe that's why some of these people are like almost like demonic, satanic type stuff. But I know that sounds like it's going a little far out there, but
no. But honestly,
we can explore these things.
It really isn't, though. If you really think about it, it really isn't, because where else could this be? Like, what else could the motivation be? Because what normal person looks at a child and sees a potential sexual partner? Like, not me. That's just like what.
Like I said, there's different degrees to this from my studies, and some of it looks like just some of these people feed off these children because they're just pure predators, and some of these people might be feeding off these children because they have this belief that the purity of the child is at its peak because the child is such an innocent vessel. That they're pure. And the fact that it's pure, it's almost like vampirism in a weird, psychotic way.
Totally.
I mean, it's really crazy. I'll let you play these clips, but this just goes to show you, like, we're dealing with some like crazy stuff here that people might want to start looking into.
Yeah. This is from the show that I did back in January 17th of 2017. So, I just want to see if my opinions differed from there to now.
Sure.
Determined to piss the
war against bullshit. Okay. Fucking words the left wants to create just chunks for you. Okay. Today won't be any different. Okay. Today, You know what? This is something I've been seeing a lot of online, and I have to throw up the alarms. I have to sound the alarms. Because if there's one thing that I will never, ever tolerate, I don't care if you call me any type of phobic or any type of fucking words the left wants to create to say, oh, you're not tolerant, you're not for diversity, you're all right, you're a racist, you're a misogynistic. I'm sorry. And you know what? I'm putting this at the feet of the left. Yeah, you Hillary supporting scumbags. I'm putting... Okay, so the one difference is you Biden, Kamala Harris supporting scumbags.
Indeed.
Damn, I was pissed off. You could really tell.
Yeah, you were. Well, how could you not be? I mean, this is one of those topics that,
like,
this is going to piss people off.
Leave kids alone. Like, me personally, I don't even mess with 18-year-old girls. Even though they're legal, I'm like, how old are you? 18? You don't know what the fuck, you don't even remember the Twin Towers. Like, get the fuck out my face. Like,
well, yeah, and they, it's, actually, who wants to deal with some of these 18 years old at this point anyway?
No, not me. Not me. Like, honestly, what the fuck do I look like? I'm not running an internship. There is a pedophile, and he's advocating this shit. He is getting I will take the law into my own hands and kill them. Ooh, wow.
Pedophiles deserve nothing less than death.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck do you, like...
That's pretty much a hot take, isn't it? That's like, that's my hot take.
Yeah, you sound very upset, to put it lightly, with what predators are advocating for.
I'm pissed off. That's me pissed off.
Rightfully so.
Like, that's me 1 inch away for, like, all I need is opportunity.
Yeah,
you're talking about you're attracted to children, and you're sexually attracted to children, and you want me to fucking accept you and not hate you? No, you are sick, and I'm talking. You do not get a pass. And you know what? It's oh man, I can't give consent. I can't give fucking consent. I can't co-sign this. I will not accept this. I will not tolerate it. I won't tolerate it. I don't care if I'm the final generation that fights. Win, lose, or draw, we must fight this. It's sick. It is getting sick out there. I mean, this is the description I put in for the show. The left is trying to convince society that pedophilia is normal, that it deserves the same respect as homosexuality. Have evangelicals been right about legalizing gay marriage as being a slippery slope to pedophilia? I mean, this is a question we have to ask now. Here's from Red. This is an article from Red State. This was posted January 11th last year. This has been coming for years, ever since Anthony Kennedy decided that his view of human sexuality was the only one permitted in the United States. We have been gathering speed in what will inevitably be the declaration by the Supreme Court that pedophilia is constitutionally protected right, and the EEOC and other federal agencies will set about making us honor that particular perversion. I'd rather go to jail. I'd rather go to jail for killing one of these monsters. In fact, if I could take it a step further, I'd rather go to jail killing these demons. Demons. Jesus.
You were very fiery on that particular episode.
Oof.
From what I gather.
Oof.
Honestly, I'll let you finish the clips.
I honestly,
or whatever you're gonna say.
I honestly agree with myself on this one. Lou from the past, I agree with you.
Your stance is still remains consistently the same, I think.
Yeah. All I need is opportunity. All I need is fucking opportunity. Like, no, you're not. No. I like, honestly, I don't care about your First Amendment rights. If you're fucking protesting saying we need to normalize pedophilia, I will take a fucking bat and I defy any cop to stop me. Like, you need to protect their free speech. No. I think free speech ends when you're advocating the harming of children.
Well, there's action involved here, so therefore there's no speech involved at all at this point.
Right.
It's pure action. And
Come to CVS for immunity support. From hand wipes to vitamins that are third-party tested. Plus free flu shots for the whole family. Visit CVS today. No-cost flu shots with most insurance. Restrictions apply. Visit CVS.com and CVS.com/tested for details.
On March 9th, 1997, Biggie Smalls was gunned down on a crowded street in Los Angeles. For 23 years, police officials, the city of Los Angeles, and the LA Times have participated in a criminal cover-up.
LAPD knew exactly what was going on.
I have the list of names of the men responsible for one of the greatest cover-ups in modern history that continues to this day.
The dossier is available on Apple or wherever you listen to podcasts every Thursday.
At Metro, you get everything you need to rule your school year. Right now, get a new phone and tablet on us when you switch. Plus, enjoy high-speed data on both devices for just $75 a month. And with one Amazon Prime membership included, you can watch Amazon Originals, movies and shows, stream endless music, and enjoy free shipping. Metro by T-Mobile. Rule your day. With new lines of service after rebate redemption plus sales tax and activation fee. Offer valid for new Amazon Prime members. Amazon Prime has a $12.99 a month cost. Restrictions apply.
You know, you do bring up an interesting point with some of the sources that you had in that clip.
Yeah.
Where they are talking about normalizing pedophilia, for example, trying to imply that pedophilia is a sexual orientation. Now, I think that would be a very foolish direction for these advocates in favor of that to go. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, if that's the case, then that means that these pedophiles were born that way, and there's no form of cure that could possibly be implemented to prevent them from being pedophiles. Because the argument we're told is if your people are born gay, so therefore they can't change their sexual orientation. Any method of curing them from being gay is not going to work.
No, there is a cure. There's a lead pill for pedophiles that will cure. That's an instant cure.
I think I know where you're going with that.
No, you shoot the motherfucker in the head. That's what I'm going.
Like I said, I think I know where you're going with that. So that's why I'm going to say
I'm going to be fucking blunt.
Idiots think that by going that route, they're going to somehow legitimize their predatory behavior or allow the advocation of predatory behavior by making it a sexual orientation. Well, all they're really doing is they're actually telling all of us that these people are not curable and that they're an absolute threat to our society and everybody. So therefore, they're actually shooting themselves in the foot by even making an argument like that.
No, what they're basically saying is there's no stopping them, so we should just feed our kids to these people. We're just gonna wave our white flag to them and surrender our children to these sickos.
In a way, yeah, I guess they're also making that argument as well. But like I said, they're shooting themselves in the foot by trying to do that because they would be better off not even trying to argue that, because then you could theoretically, quote unquote, cure these people of their desire to prey on children, and then they could still function in our society.
Well, no, but that's the thing. These people can't function in our society, Gabe.
But that's my point.
Yeah, they can't function. We should do honestly.
Yes.
We should do to them like this fucking society has done to all of us, and quarantine them off somewhere. Like put them in an area where they could build some whatever you want. To improve this society somewhere away from kids, and don't give them any fucking health care. If they die, they die. Oh well. You might have to ship them off to another country so that way their personal rights are not a factor anymore. But either that or we could go with my original plan. As you're already laughing, and burn them for electricity. I say we should burn the pedophiles for electricity. We make a questionnaire. We give them a questionnaire. Cure with a headshot double tap, says Mike in from the TikToks. Yes, that's my first choice. Second choice is to throw them in a fucking furnace while alive and have their bodies burnt, so that way the dust could turn some turbines or whatever and produce electricity for all of us. Like, honestly, there seems to be an abundance of pedos, especially in Hollywood and other industries, which means this could be a never-ending source of alternate energy.
Sustainable source of energy.
Very sustainable.
What I'm gathering from you.
Yes, honestly,
because the degree of predatory people are just on a vast scale.
Yeah.
And that's scary, that there is so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
But, like I was saying, if these idiots want to argue that it's a sexual orientation, all they're doing is shooting themselves in the foot, because they're actually making a black and white argument that, well, in reality, they can't be cured. And if that be the case, they are absolutely dangerous, and they really have no business being in societies where children are at risk by these people, which is everywhere.
Honestly, if they want to fuck kids so much, put them on an island full of goats. And if somebody gets that joke, you guys get 100 points.
Yeah, it's really nuts. So yeah, they really tried. They tried the angle to push the envelope with that argument.
Mm-hmm.
They're obviously coming out of the shadows to encourage this through that writer at Salon and the other guy, which I guess they kind of retracted and are now hiding. I don't know what these people are doing now. But as you said, the article has been basically Stalinized, disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah. Well, because they knew, like, honestly, I guess they knew, like, the colossal backlash, which was the same amount of backlash that this Netflix movie about 11-year-old little girls stripping or not doing stripper moves. I mean, and here's the thing, like, when you go on these rating sites, like the Hollywood critic,
Rotten Tomatoes.com, for example.
Yeah. They gave it. They rated the critics rated it high, and normal people rated it low, and the margin between them was so large. It's like, where, like how the fuck?
I guess that tells you
this?
the exquisite taste of the critics.
Oh yeah.
In the film critic industry, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to ask.
It shows you how much of a bubble these people are truly living in if they think that this is perfectly acceptable behavior.
Yeah.
It's actually, it should be alarming, quite frankly. That they have such influence and power to determine what's on printed articles.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm so happy I don't pay for Netflix ever since the final insult for me was how they fucked up Voltron. Like, why would you fuck up Voltron? How the fuck do you fuck up Voltron, Netflix? Why do you put this LGBTQ nonsense fucking agenda, which adds nothing to the goddamn story, in Voltron? What the fuck? Why fuck with Voltron? That's like that's a topic for another day.
I can only speculate and assume that the same type of people who are pushing for all this type of stuff are also infecting various media outlets such as what you described.
Yeah.
And injecting things that, quite frankly, don't make sense. Unless it's purposely being done to, again, push the envelope.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody involved with LGBT-related stuff is pedophiles are involved with any of that.
Right.
What I would argue is that, again, you have pedophiles who know that they can use that umbrella as a shield for its nefarious actions while they take the brunt of the blame.
Right.
Just like the Catholic Church, just like the school systems with these teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And, people who work at amusement parks or whatever. Any kind of place where these people can infect, they're going to exploit it. They're going to exploit anything they can. Yeah, maybe they were trying to exploit Voltron. I'm speculating, of course. But, again, I don't know if I'm really off on that conclusion, considering what we've been seeing.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it a lot more and more.
Let me play some more of the clips of my past self.
Yes.
See how much I've grown.
Well, you don't yell as much right now.
No, I'm not.
But that's okay.
Yeah. No, it's still early. It's still early in the show. I haven't gotten to that level of pistosity. Like, honestly, if I'm remembering correctly, this was after umpteen times of me seeing example after example after example of the left trying to normalize shit. I'm like, leave kids alone. Do you like? I'm like they want to die. I kind of remember I was like, holy shit, they want to die. They want to die. They need me to kill them. That's what they want me to do. That is what the left wants me to do. They want me to go after these motherfuckers and kill them. That's it. Okay. God, if this is your will, give me a hammer. Give me a hammer. Give me a fucking hammer. I will do it. I would give me a bless a hammer. Give me a holy hammer. Give me like a Thor's hammer, and I will do it.
She's a vice grips like Joe Pesci.
You made me want to pop your eye out for that motherfucker. You personally don't even matter, you pedo motherfucker. You. So okay, let me play this. And yes, demons are real, and they have to be fought. There's no sticking your head in the sand. There is no fucking ignoring this and just like, well, there were different strokes for different folks. No. Children cannot consent. And you're destroying them. You're destroying their psyche. You're fucking around with their mental health. Like, what are you thinking? What the fuck is what are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Let me go back to this article here. Back in September, we saw one of the first blatant efforts to legitimize pedophilia. Salon published a piece called "I'm a Pedophile, but Not a Monster." No, you're a monster. You're a demon, and you just like, honestly, look. Even if this means, well, fuck it, I don't believe anyone that listens to this show, I don't think is a pedophile. In fact, I think I would just advocate, if you know a pedophile, do the world a favor and take them out before they harm a child. It goes on to say, my name is Todd Nickerson and I'm a pedophile. Does that surprise you? Yeah, not many of us are willing to share our story for good reason. To confess a sexual attraction to children is to lay claim to the most reviled status on the planet. Okay, first of all, this is why it disgusts me. It makes me angry. Because, look, I'm the world's greatest uncle. I am. Still am. Uncle Louis is the greatest. Yes, Uncle Louis will teach your kids how to defend themselves. Uncle Louis would teach them how to respect others, how to respect themselves, and make sure and teach them right and wrong. Because I want to pass on my knowledge so that way this nation could be strong, will become stronger, become better. Children have innocence, and you know what? Like honestly, when I lost my innocence, like when you finally realize this world is dark and disgusting, it's sad. What pedophiles do is they steal a child's innocence. Fucking exposes them, steals their pureness, their light. How's it not? How can the left think that pedophilia is natural when it's harming a child? I've just been wanting to speak about this. It's Jesus.
Well, it's really funny.
What?
You were talking about the purity of children.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said.
Yeah.
There seems to be a common theme here.
Mm-hmm.
Even back then, it's pretty clear to anybody who's been researching this for a while now that seems to be a component to this.
Yeah.
To some extent. I mean, yeah, they're trying to, as I was saying, push the envelope any which way they can. And I speculate in, obviously, the entertainment industry of franchises that they're wrecking. I'm sure they're trying to stick it in there.
Yeah.
To some extent.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this new movie on Netflix seems to be pushing the envelope to a new level.
Yeah.
And, it's funny. It seems a common theme is at play here because you look at that kid Desmond.
Yeah.
Who is, I don't know how old, but old enough to probably be close to 11 years old.
Yeah.
And he was pretty much twerking as well.
Yeah.
In front of a crowd. If you remember that, was it a bar in Brooklyn?
No.
$3 bill or something?
Yeah, no, it was a bar here in the West Village.
West Village, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. I've seen videos of another little boy twerking at a Pride Fest, and they're surrounded by older men.
As I have too. Yes.
And I'm like, first of all, okay, if you're going to be gay, okay, fine. I mean, mazel tov, be happy. I'm not going to go around freaking gay bashing. Ain't nobody got time for that. But the moment you start, like, why are you allowing a child, like, honestly, the last thing you should want is a child in a parade, a sexual parade. Like, if that was me, I'd be like,
I call it the sex parade. Yeah, I call it, like, and some. It might even be borderline pedo parade.
Like, I'd be like, can you get this kid out of here? I'm trying to get my dick sucked, and I don't need this kid watching me. Like, get him the fuck out of here. Get these kids. This is not a family event. Get these kids the fuck out of here. Can I just get my dick sucked? Like.
Which goes back to my earlier point of pedos trying to utilize LGBT type stuff for their pedo agenda, which again not everybody involved with that type of lifestyle per se. I'm not talking pedo lifestyle. I'm talking about the other lifestyles.
Yes.
Outside of the pedo lifestyle, not everybody in those circles are pedophiles.
Mm-hmm.
However, pedophiles are certainly utilizing their circles for nefarious purposes, and they're going to end up getting the blame for it, which is why people in those circles should be very concerned about pedophiles and may want to, keep a watch to make sure that people like that are not exploiting both children and their labels, so to speak, that they identify with. That's something that those people should be very aware of. And if they're not, they need to become aware of that, because they're going to end up getting blamed for it, just like Catholic Church priests are getting blamed for all this the same way.
Yeah.
When there are a lot of good people in the Catholic faith who, they do a lot of good charitable work, and they do help people, and unfortunately they get a bad name because of the pedo infiltrators.
Yeah.
Who are exploiting these children who are highly impressionable.
But also as a man, I remember when I took a job doing security for an after-school program, I had to go through a whole bunch of background checks before they would allow me to be able to protect children. But when I quit to get a better job or a job that was more consistent, because the girl that they hired, I found out that they didn't give her a background check. They just assumed. Huh. I'm like, what? Like I had to jump through all these fucking hoops. Like honestly, I can't.
Was it because she was a woman?
Yeah, but I had to be.
Well, we can assume that the selective enforcement laws, I don't know what you want to call them, may have very well just ignored her because they just assumed she's a woman. There are predator women out there too.
Oh yeah,
they do exist.
Yeah,
you can find hundreds of stories of that.
Yeah, it's a growing fucking a growing industry.
No, it's true. There are women who are total predators, and they're messing with the minds of children just as badly as the men are who are involved with this behavior. I know that's true.
Yeah,
it's really wild.
It's disgusting. I can't understand, why is this being allowed to grow? Why is this being allowed to happen? Why aren't if anything, if there's any reason to go into the streets and go after a particular location and start smashing windows, I would go after Netflix. I would go after Hollywood. I would go after the people that freaking decide who okayed this shit.
There, Louis, you asked a simple question earlier about why is this becoming so prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is people with big bucks, big money, and influence, whether it's political, economic, or in the business world. Unfortunately, there's quite a few of these people out there who do have the influence to put it out there. And whether they're directly themselves pedophiles or the allies of pedophiles.
Yeah.
They are totally, they have access to all these media outlets, and they're the ones pumping this stuff out. Because, people like you or me, we don't have big bucks. We can't put stuff out like that.
No.
If we were evil and nefarious, we don't have the means to do that. But these people obviously do have the means to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also the other thing. The difference between somebody with no money who's a pedophile, they're a danger to the community. And, they're a crazy person. Actually, I'll use this analogy. There's a difference between a crazy person that wants to basically bathe in a bathtub full of feces and a very rich person who wants to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The person with money has the influence and power to do very wacky things, whereas a person who doesn't have money or power, well, everyone just looks at them as they're crazy. It's like, that's people. It's the same thing when they tell you you're eccentric.
Yeah.
If you're poor, you're crazy. If you're rich, you're eccentric, even though it's pretty much the same thing. The scary part is the people with money who have these crazy thoughts can do a lot of serious damage.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have the means and the influence to be able to do that. And that's where it becomes dangerous.
Yeah. I actually remember this one case. It was a case about a young girl named Vicky. That wasn't her real name, but it was a very famous child porn case where this girl was victimized for years, and they actually created a law that anybody that downloaded her porn or any child porn, not only did they receive time, they had to pay damages to the young lady that was on that video.
Right. Well, that makes sense. And like I said, I mean, I could tell you stories, man. This pedo stuff is very real, and I mean, I'm sure you've heard of the Conspiracy of Silence documentary. I know I've mentioned it to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've actually watched it, but it gets into the discussion of the Franklin cover-up with I think it was a Franklin Credit Union.
Mm-hmm.
And Lawrence, this guy, what was his name? Lawrence King, who was a darling of the Republican Party at the time. He was a black Republican, but he was, they were running pedo parties out of Boys Town, Nebraska. And the funny, well, not so funny, but the crazy part is this: there was a whole documentary about this called Conspiracy of Silence, and I believe that was the title of it. You can find it on YouTube. And the people paid to have this not aired on television. But it really was an expose on the wild and crazy things that are going on, where these pedo parties are going on, supposedly, which I'm sure is true. And what they would do is they'll use kids that are already damaged goods, so to speak, where their minds have been messed with, and they'll feed them drugs. And what they'll do is they'll keep them sedated with drugs, and they'll find troubled kids because they know that they can do this to use it against them as far as their credibility is concerned.
Yeah.
If anyone were ever to go public.
Yeah. In fact,
and what they've done this. They've literally intimidated witnesses and abused children who just...
Right now, switch your family to T-Mobile and get 4 lines for $25 a line with AutoPay and 5G access included on America's largest 5G network. So don't wait. Get unlimited and nationwide 5G access for the whole family for just $25 a line. Visit a T-Mobile store or T-Mobile.com today.
Plus taxes and fees. Customers may notice lower speeds and further reduction if using over 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video at 480p. Unlimited while on our network. Qualifying credit and 4+ lines required. Capable device required for 5G. Coverage not available in some areas. Some uses may require certain features. See T-Mobile.com.
Today tastes like movie night.
Okay, whose turn is it to choose?
And everyone's favorite hit, pizza and Coke. Today tastes like front row seats for all. Like cushions and popcorn. And counting the seconds.
Pizza's here.
Today tastes like a slice of the action.
Hey, hit the light.
Like we belong here and now. And it never tasted this good. Coca-Cola. Together tastes better.
Described the horrible acts that were committed against them to the point where they were too scared to testify on the stand, or they were not believed. Yeah, this was going on back in the 90s. You look at like people like Ted Gunderson and some of the investigative work that he's done. I think it's satanical sexual abuse cases that he was involved with, where, I mean, there are terrible things happening to children. And I'll let you speak. I do have a story I can tell you from actually on a personal level of some of this pedophile stuff. I was never abused by a pedophile per se, but I did encounter one, and I can tell you that story.
Yeah, I want to play this clip of Blake Lively, who's wife of Ryan Reynolds. Talking about child pornography and child trafficking.
Yes.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, Blake Lively.
Selma, you are a role model in every facet of your life. She's the best mama and wife and leader and boss and producer and actress, and I want to be her every day. So thank you, Selma.
All right.
And thank you to Variety for not only honoring and acknowledging women, but acknowledging the issues that we all need to be talking about. I'm just so grateful to be in the company of all of the women being honored here today. So I'm here today because I'm a mama, and I have 2 baby girls. Well, they're not babies, but I think they are. James and Inez, and they are my world. And I would do anything to protect them. I would literally die for them without a moment's thought. And for those of you who have children, I think you know what I'm talking about. I mean, if you think of what you would do for your child, I don't think there's anything you wouldn't ask of yourself. So it got me thinking, what is the value of a single child's life? And what is the value of a child's life who isn't our own? Like, what is her little life worth, or his little life worth, And the sexual exploitation of children is something that isn't happening rarely. It's not happening worlds away. It's happening right here and right now. So to show you guys that, while I'm talking, there's a map right here. And if you guys look up at this map, every time a dot shows up, is it live? What's happening? Oh, there you go. There you go. Now they have it live. So every time a dot shows up, that is someone that's trading or viewing child pornography right now as we speak. So that's how prevalent this is. And I didn't really know what child pornography was. We all sort of have an idea of it, and I was afraid to ask as a mother, because it would be very painful to hear. And I felt like I had to ask, though, and I feel like I have to share it with you guys now. And it is disturbing, and I want to warn you, but I feel it's my responsibility to tell you guys, because it is the truth. And I believe if we all knew this, we would dedicate much more of ourselves to stopping it. So when I asked what child pornography entailed, yes, it's nude images of boys and girls under the age of 18. But now, because of high-speed internet, it's also videos very prominently. And videos of kids, and by kids I mean prepubescent, visibly prepubescent. And they make the distinction because of the internet and there's so much content, these pedophiles are desensitized. Because of that, the kids are getting younger, and the content is getting that much more devastating. So when this law enforcement officer told me this, I asked him how young are the young kids he's seeing, and he told me infants. And I have a 6-month-old baby. So I said, what does that mean? What does an infant mean? And he said, with the umbilical cord still attached.
Jeez.
I know, it's so devastating to hear this, and I'm really sorry to share this, but I'm grateful that you guys are listening, because this is actually happening, and it's important that we know this and that it resonates with us, so that we think about this in our days and in our personal life. So I asked them what happens in these videos, and unspeakable things happen, but I'm again going to speak about them, because I feel like if these kids are experiencing this, the least that they deserve is for us to hear what is actually happening to them. So no, it's not just touching. There is penetration. There is extreme torture and bondage. There's bestiality.
Yeah. So you guys get the point. It's fucking horrific.
It's real.
Yeah.
Oh, it's real, and I'm going to tell you. It's interesting you bring that clip up. I've never heard that clip, but what she's describing is a very real thing. So much, it's horrific how real it is. Mm-hmm. It angers me.
Yeah.
How real it is, because like I told you earlier, I actually encountered one of these predators.
Yeah, tell your story. Tell your story. I think everyone should hear this.
What's really crazy is all the things that she's talking about with children, prepubescent children. Well, this predator was highly into that. This predator was my cousin, who's in the 60s. His name is Stephen Proctor Brown, and what he would do is he was preying on children for over 30 years as a teacher And amongst many other things, he was a wealthy individual. He came from a wealthy family background. These people had money. And he lived in Manhattan, and he would lure children back into his apartment from Manhattan with his toy boat that he would, ride around in Central Park, right near his apartment. And he was doing this for 30 years, from what I gather. He was, at least with several victims. And he was exploiting school children as a teacher. Even the people at the school kind of thought he was a little weird. Even when I met him for the first time, back in 2006 or 2007, I think it was,
right.
I thought something was odd and off about him, but I couldn't figure out what it was. There was he seemed like a sociopath, and he was very cold, with no feeling or care for others. But I didn't know about this pedophilia stuff until about 2014, it was 2014 in August. And I got to learn about these facts with several mutual friends of ours when we were upstate visiting my father. And it turns out that I found out through the newspaper that he was actually apprehended by the FBI. It turns out how they did this, he was planning on meeting what he believed was an 11-year-old boy. Yes, an 11-year-old boy.
Get the fuck out.
He was having exchange through text messages and emails of sexually explicit dialogue and requests. And he was going to meet that boy at a hotel. And he was going to bring his camera, from what the reports have read, so he could take still images, sexually explicit still images of what he thought an 11-year-old boy was, thought he was in contact with. Well, the FBI nabbed him at this hotel, and what they discovered in his possession once they raided his home is he was in possession of over, I think, 11,000 pornographic images of children and videos. And he was, it was said that he was a distributor of child pornography. And, this guy is, he was basically held on state and federal charges for the crimes that he committed. And I believe a bail of $1 million was put out, but nobody paid it.
Yeah.
There was just so much overwhelming evidence of what he was doing that there's no way that he was going to be able to beat these charges. And he also admitted, from according to the testimony I read in the Department of Justice, in the southern jurisdiction of New York State, that he admitted guilt to these charges that were expressed against him. He's now sitting in one of the prisons in New York State for almost, I guess, 292 months, which I guess is over 20 years.
No.
He's gonna be he's probably gonna be dead by the time he gets out. But once he's out, he's gonna have to have supervised, monitoring for the rest of his life. But the thing is, this guy was hurting children, and he got away with it. And he thought because he was rich, he would never get caught. And what really bothers me is when I was around this man, I had friends of mine. Their children were around him, and thank God he never got to them. But it hurt. It really angers me to know now, after the fact, that I had children around this pedophile, this predator. And what's really crazy about all this, Louis, is 2 years before I found out that he was a notorious pedophile on like one of the worst levels, I found a coffee mug in the house that he would stay when I used to be allowed on the estate. That our family owned, that had literally Boys Town, Nebraska on it. Now, if that's not the biggest coincidence I've ever heard, because again, like I said to you earlier about Boys Town, how they would have pedo parties.
Yeah.
I had to wonder, was this man at one of these pedophile parties, and how real, how much of a coincidence to find a coffee mug in a house that he would stay. In fact, it should have been a sign to everybody, or maybe everyone knew up on the estate in my family already, because my mother told me that they knew Stephen was sick years ago. but they didn't explain what exactly he was sick from. So maybe people knew. And also, what's really weird is a request that Stephen made. He wanted a king-size bed put in the house that he was staying, and he's not married, he's in his 60s. And the people putting this bed in the house, one of them, as my father once told me, asked the question, why does he need this bed? Well, I guess we now know why, because perhaps maybe he was going to produce evil content of horrible variety.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you this, too. During the time that my father was on the estate, he was being thrown off his land, and Stephen was pushing for him to be thrown out of his land. He was living on top of a garage that Stephen's father owned, which was next to the house. So it seems to me that my father was being thrown off his property, not because he accidentally burned down his ice house, as they originally claimed the argument was, but maybe the truth of the matter was he wanted to prevent my father from finding out what Stephen was actually doing. And it seems that Stephen's not the only person that has weird association to pedophilia in the New World Order element of my family. There's another individual who's been in my family that's been accused of some pretty interesting things as a headmaster, and there's actually a report that just came out as of February of this year about, sexual misconducts by teachers at Trinity Pauling, which is a boarding school up in Pauling, New York. And one of the people that married into my family, his name is on that document as somebody who was questioned about the conduct that was being conducted at that school. And the funny, crazy part is the day that I confronted my family about the pedophile stuff that I was to discover, that man was nowhere to be found who is named in that document of people who are questioned about the behavior that was going on at the school. He was the headmaster of. But my family had called the police on me. They had me arrested for basically disagreeing with what they believe, because they don't believe free speech matters.
No, of course not.
And they literally had these cops arrest me. They put me in a kangaroo courtroom for 15 months and argued that I trespassed on my own father's property. That he was basically trespassing on his own property too. And when the judge asked me where I was arrested, I told him the location, and his eyes lit up, and he said, "Oh," like he knew that place. And there were police. There was an instance where my family hired a private investigator to follow me around on the street during that court case to set me up. State troopers had actually rearrested me, put me in leg shackles, brought me to the state barracks for the state troopers. They had the personal cell phone numbers of my family members, and I overheard them in a separate room talking about the private investigator that was following me around. These people tried to have me set up and basically offered me a plea deal that I was forced to take, or I would have had to sit in jail for over 30 days with a misdemeanor on my record. And I tried to defend my father. I tried to stand up for him, but it got to the point where I was by myself, and I didn't have anyone to back me up, really. And these people, they were going to lie and testify against me in court just to have me convicted, because they wanted to keep all this stuff quiet. And they did have somebody file an order of protection to prevent me from going on to the estate where Stephen and this other individual are attached to, so they can keep me off the property so I don't see what's going on. And previous caretakers that worked there had indicated dark things go on in the estate up there. So I don't know what's going on there anymore, but I'm going to tell you, these rich pedophile type people are very real, and the people around them, whether they're pedophiles themselves or somehow in some weirdo alliance with them, will do anything to exploit and destroy you if you dare question what they are about. This is one of the reasons why I'm so passionately involved with trying to stop these people. Because I know how very real it is.
Yeah.
I actually went through a microcosm of what these SJW Antifa type people want to implement. They want to create in the United States. I've lived through this.
Oh yeah, I
personally.
mean, of course they want to incorporate pedophilia into their new socialist Marxist utopia. Like honestly, it's like they want to introduce every form of perversion into their new world order. Like no one is safe. Nothing is sacred. Nothing is sacred. No one is safe.
No.
These
people, I'll let you speak. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they'll attack children. They'll attack the elderly. Anyone that they see as a threat, and they see the innocence of children as a threat, and it's just upsetting. Like, oh, this movie's a work of art. It goes to show you the over sexualization of children. First of all, how's about we don't have to have a movie about telling us about the dangers of over-sexualized children by over-sexualizing children.
I'm telling you, man, these people are they're control freaks. They have to control everything. They have to victimize anybody they could possibly victimize. And in my case, they told my father that my politics make me extremely dangerous to them.
Yeah, of course it does.
Because I'm for liberty and freedom and the Bill of Rights, and standing up for those who are being preyed upon, like they tried to do to him and have done to him, and attempted to do to me.
Yeah, I mean,
but yes, that's the type of people we're dealing with.
You're for liberty, freedom, and death to all pedos. Pedophile lives don't matter. I am glad that that hashtag is making it. Pedophile lives don't matter. In fact, if you're in the chat room right now, I need you to put that in the chat room right now. Hashtag pedophile lives don't matter. In fact, retweet this show right now. I'm on Spreaker. I'm on the YouTubes. I'm on the TikTokies. Hashtag pedophile lives don't matter. Show me your solidarity in the chat room, everybody. It's just this has to end. This has to end.
Yeah, it does, and it's real. And like I said, when it comes to that guy who is apparently my cousin, I don't care if he's my cousin. You're hurting children, you're dead to me. You that guy, that man. I don't care what happens to him in prison. As far as I'm concerned, he's cooked and done. I want nothing to do with people that do this. And this is evil, and they're hurting children. And like I don't know how you know what's crazy, Louis? I can't really even explain this stuff to most people because most people don't even understand what I'm talking about.
Right?
They don't understand this experience that I'm describing to you. This is very real. I mean, I don't know if I would argue that I'm traumatized from it, but certainly I feel like I'm alone in this fight in many ways. Where and the crazy thing is, there was a blog written 10 years ago about the one guy who was the headmaster that married into my family. And now there's lawsuits coming out as of last year or November, and documents coming out in February of 2020 here that bring his name up from, which basically kind of like corroborates with what the anonymous blog was saying 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Like, and what's, I guess in a way it kind of drives me crazy that I've known about this stuff since 2014. And to watch almost roughly 6 years passing and seeing no justice for really any of the stuff that I personally had to deal with trying to confront all this stuff when these people tried to destroy me. To now see this stuff come out, I don't know. It's time. I guess I understand how, some of those people who were dealing with Jeffrey Epstein as victims feel like to some extent. I mean, granted, I wasn't sexually exploited like they were, but I kind of understand where they're coming from in the sense that they probably felt for years that justice was not being done. I mean, I literally almost ended up in jail with no resolve. I can't even visit my grandfather's gravestone. I will go to jail if I see that thing. I'm not even joking. That could you imagine that?
So
Most people can't. But that's
so
the type of situation I'm dealing with.
So the only really hope you have is by some freak accident, most of your family passes away, leaving you with the property, inheriting the property yourself. That is the only way you'll be able to see your grandfather's grave.
Probably, and I don't, which is never gonna happen because there's like 100 of them. It's crazy. It's almost like mafia type stuff where they got all these different last names. They're all related to each other. Mm-hmm. It's so crazy. I could honestly write a book about all this stuff, and it would sound like it was made up or something, but it's all documented. That's the screwed up part. Oh man, yeah. This stuff is real. These pedos are real. They're at high places and they have lots of influence. And even if there are, some of these people aren't necessarily pedos themselves, but for whatever weird reason, they decide to align themselves with pedos.
Yeah.
And they will defend those people, and they will do everything to keep that covered up.
Yeah, I mean,
they will attack people like me or you.
Yeah, like I've been writing dark jokes. And I told you this joke I was working on over the phone. Like basically, you have Carlos Danger, aka what's his name? I forgot his real name. Anthony Weiner. You have Anthony Weiner. You have all these other like successful people who have been accused or who have been proven to be pedophiles. That they're all successful. It's like the only way to be successful is to fuck kids. It's like you have these people sending inappropriate pictures to underage kids. Like, look how sexy I am. If that's the only way to make it anywhere in Hollywood to like become successful, what? I might as well just send a picture of my butthole to like toddlers. Like, what the fuck?
It's so out of control.
It is.
It really is out of
really
control.
Is.
And
it's fucking disgusting.
I guess it's part of I'm going to call it blackmail culture.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably part of it. These people, that's what they do. They're all compromised, so therefore they know that, especially in that type of situation, which is the worst of the worst, you got that. You can control anybody.
Yeah. We got in the Spreaker chat room, we have Donald J. Trump. He's listening. He's like, yo, Lou, what up, Mr. President? Thank you for listening to the show. I'm pretty sure it's not the real Donald John Trump. But I wish it is. Maybe.
Speaking of Donald Trump, I mean, look at, since his administration's coming to office, I mean, look at all these pedophile rings getting shut down.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I don't think we'd ever see that under Hillary Clinton administration. In fact, I think Jeffrey Epstein would not only still be alive, but he'd still be exploiting young girls or whatever it is he exploited, during the time that he was alive. I'm sure he would still be doing that. I'm sure those islands would still be utilized for heinous activities if she was around. In fact, she and her husband would probably be participating in some of those heinous acts.
Right.
Because these witnesses have argued that Clinton...
Attention SSI and other federal benefit recipients. If you did not file a tax return last year and have children under 17, you must act now to get the $500 economic impact payment per child this year. You must provide the IRS your child's information by September 30th. Go to irs.gov and use the non-filer tool by September 30th. That's irs.gov. This message produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Come to CVS for immunity support. From hand wipes to vitamins that are third-party tested. Plus free flu shots for the whole family. Visit CVS today. No-cost flu shots with most insurance. Restrictions apply. Visit CVS.com and CVS.com/tested for details.
Has been seen. I don't know if I believe the island, but he's definitely been seen with young girls. A little bit. I don't know. He could maybe be their grandfather, perhaps. I don't know. Not to say that it isn't possible for people of older variety to be with somebody a little bit younger. But when you're not even 18 years old, we're going to level like 15, maybe younger. That's getting a little crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me play some more of the show that I did. Let's see.
Sure.
Comparing here. Like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know. Like, you're like, I'm honestly, as a libertarian, like, I don't know. I mean, because being a pedophile is not a right. It's rape. It's disgusting. It is disgusting, and it's just demonic. It's demonic. And I'm sorry if you're a Hillary supporter, if you're a Democrat, if you're left leaning, you need to check your people. Yeah, for real.
You
need to put them on check, because they you got Salon on .com posting shit, trying to post articles written by pedophiles so that way they can gain sympathy. Like, honestly, there are viruses with no cure. What if they're mental illnesses with no cure? If you're a pedophile and if you are attracted to children that way, it is better for you to kill yourself. If you are really what they call a virtuous pedophile, or pedophiles that have that refuse to offend, but they still have that attraction, if you have that inclination in you, I'm sorry, bro, there's no help for you. If you really want to be virtuous, kill yourself. Mm-hmm. Yes, I am advocating for pedophiles to commit suicide. I swear to God, if TikTok takes me down for advocating pedophile suicide, I'm going to be so fucking pissed off. I'm going to be so fucking pissed
off. I understand.
Like,
I'm pretty calm about all this stuff, considering what I've been through.
Yeah. Honestly, if anybody in the chat room, in the TikTok chat room, any chat room that we got the Spreaker chat room, we got the YouTube chat room, we got the Twitch chat room, we also got the Twitter chat room. If you are down, if you are for pedophile suicide, can I get a hell's yeah?
I don't think that's going to be hard to.
Yeah, it's hard. It's freaking hard to get these motherfuckers to chatting in the chat room. Go ahead, talk it up. We got Donald J. Trump in the Spreaker chat room. He's like 28 times at least on the island. Clinton was on that island at least 28 times. Says Donald J. Trump, for who's going to be reelected in November.
And I also got to say this, too, because I noticed a lot of people on the left are trying to say that Trump's a pedophile because he was friends with Epstein and all that. But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
The witnesses that spoke out against Epstein have, from what I can tell, they actually pretty much said that as far as Trump goes, they never actually saw him with any of the girls.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't seem like he was involved in any of that stuff. So they kind of like, they pretty much... provided his innocence in their testimony, at least.
Yeah.
Whereas with Clinton, he's pretty much implicated as potentially being, an extremely horrible person, to put it lightly.
Yeah. Like, let's say this motherfucker had a loyalty card to like Subway, he would be getting a free sandwich like 10 times by now.
Yes.
A free loyalty, his loyalty reward, his pedo rewards card. He would be getting a free 5-year-old.
He's getting restocked,
Yeah. It's like, hey, let's all go down to Epstein Island and get some young chicks.
I'm sorry, I mean to interrupt your song. Yeah. But I was going to say, it makes sense to why Epstein would try to, like, maybe get Trump involved with his stuff, because Trump did have access to younger girls with badge and stuff he was involved with.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he wanted access to those girls.
And I'm pretty sure, Like, I'm pretty sure he went for like younger 20-year-old girls, but he wasn't going for no fucking toddlers.
I don't see evidence of Trump actually being involved in any of that stuff. It seems like, if anything, he's actually done more to expose any of this stuff than any of these people would ever. We know why. Because they're the ones who are protecting all these people. But, yeah, it is a major problem. It's real, and these people will go to any length to destroy you if you try to come after them. And that's the thing. I understand why a lot of people are afraid to expose the pedophile stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a very difficult thing to prosecute. You need to have, like, direct evidence that exploitation was going on, or, you know, I mean, look at, like I'll give you an example. You see Alan Dershowitz, who was one of the lawyers, I guess, involved with Epstein. He's been accused of being a participant in all this stuff, and what does he do? He goes on national television and he basically tries to put the scare of death in the witnesses, like, oh, you don't have any evidence, and he's trying to scare these people. A lot of times, it's possible these people will come out and sue you if you make the accusation, if you don't necessarily have the evidence, even if they raped you. But you know what's really screwed up in all this?
Mm-hmm.
Even though there are real cases of rape and pedophilia and all this stuff, what's happening is, again, the left, I hate to say it, but it's a reoccurring theme with the left. They have things like the Me Too movement, for example, which I guess to some extent may have helped expose Weinstein and others, but it's been hijacked by a bunch of SJWs who were never raped and just want to call everything rape. They want to call words rape. And that overshadows the real rape cases and the real pedophile cases with absolute nonsense and fucking hoaxes, with actual hoaxes of things that never actually happened. And I gotta hand it to the weird sector of the left for just really knowing how to just mix it all up with nonsense to overshadow the real deal.
Oh yeah.
They do that a little bit too much. Even they do it with racism. They do it with everything.
Yeah, but the thing is, why do they defend this type of, like, if anything that we should be the United States on is a United States of fuck this pedo shit. We should all be like, yo, what the fuck is this shit about? But no, they constantly freaking defend it. They're like trying to justify, oh, well, we should be accepting of these lifestyles. And why? Why? Who's the constituency that you're trying to fucking protect? Their children being hurt. Done fucking deal. You should not be hurting children. Come on, that's enough. That is enough.
You know what it is? I guess there's maybe a multitude of reasons why this is the case. One, I could definitely argue with some of these people is they're just completely naive to the reality of this twisted stuff, and they don't really understand, for whatever reason, that this is just outright wrong. And they don't understand that. And of course, then you also have the pedophiles that have infiltrated their circles who are trying to rationalize their predatory behavior and exploit weaknesses in these weak-minded people who exist on the left in the weirdest sphere that, for whatever reason, again, are naive about the world they live in.
Yeah.
They're naive about they'll call everybody racist if they'll call cops racist if some guy who happens to be black for whatever reason is chasing them with guns and trying to kill the cops because they're a psycho lunatic. They'll just say the cop is racist. They'll say they're racist even if they get killed. Why? Because these naive idiots don't understand that there are just some people out there who are psychotic lunatics that want to kill you. They're on a mission to murder.
Mm-hmm.
It's reality. Just like there are Ted Bundy type predators out there who invite you to their vehicle, and they gag you, and they take out their goodies from their little rape bag, and they go to town.
Yeah, where do you think they get the you know where they get their rape bag from?
I think they have to custom make it.
No, they go to
Actually,
they go to Saks, Fifth Avenue.
Oh, jeez. You know what's funny about Ted Bundy? He actually, he basically he could have been a high level Republican candidate.
Really?
At one point. Yeah, if you look into his history, he was in the Republican Party and he had all this charisma. And people had no idea that he was actually doing these horrible things to all these women. Until he got caught, of course. But yeah, he was involved with politics. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Donald J. Trump in the chat room, he goes, there were 2 islands, by the way. Know who else was who was on one, had one? David Copperfield. Check that out. Quite the story there.
I wonder if he'll make that headline disappear.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like first of all,
it's
like anyone,
crazy.
Like honestly, anyone who's fucked Claudia Schiffer, why the fuck are you messing with kids if you could get like supermodels? Like, yeah, and was a lawyer also. So
I don't know much about Mr. Copperfield.
Yeah. Maybe
I probably should, but I don't.
Maybe
I will research him.
So his name wasn't Copperfield; it was actually David Copperfield.
Copperfield. Copper plea deal.
Copper plea deal. Hey, I'll be here all week. We got Kathy Perry in the TikToky chat room. Hi, Kathy Perry. We got some other people that I think they just left, but we just got Kathy right now. How you doing, Kathy? Welcome to the show. We are going. I'm going through my old podcast that I did back in 2017. I didn't change. I didn't change much on my stance. I really wasn't taking. No. And I'm listening to this. I'm like, why am I so angry? I'm not taking any risks with this fucking take. I'm like, this is given. This is a given. Like why do we have to? Why are we putting up with this? Why are we tolerating this? Why must we tolerate this? Why do they expect me to tolerate freaking the harming of children? Like what kind of? I almost said a fucking word. I almost said a fucking word that would have gotten me kicked off the TikTok, and I'm just tired of freaking getting kicked off of TikTok.
They kicked you off there again?
No, not yet.
Oh. I'll better jinx it.
yeah, I have to be careful because as soon as I say a certain words, I'm like, oh, I slipped up. Okay, it's about to go.
Bundy, well, apparently pedophile is a not a problematic word to say on TikTok. So
he says Bundy was the lawyer. Says Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, he was also a lawyer too. That's right. He defended himself in court, if I remember.
Yeah.
He also escaped from prison or jail a couple times, if I remember correctly. So he's an interesting character.
Yeah.
I was also going to point out another example of, the media attacking somebody for destroying a pedophile, literally. And you look at this Ritterhouse kid who defended the community he worked in, and how he had to, unfortunately, or depending on how you look at it, he had to shoot several individuals in self-defense.
Yeah.
Which resulted in, I believe, 1 or 2 of their lives ending. And a third being heavily wounded in the arm. No. If I remember correctly, to the point where he'd probably never use it again.
Yeah, well, you learn to jerk off with the other hand. Become ambidextrous, dickhead.
Well, he's going to have to be.
A fucking dickhead. oh, I'm going to attack a kid and then I'm going to be all shocked when he shoots me. Like, yeah, don't chase after the dude with the rifle, you stupid fuck.
Yeah, one of them was a pedophile, of course, and it's just the left just seems to be defending these people.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was
treating him like he's a terrorist. When, if anything, he did the world a favor.
Yeah, I mean, really, there's this meme going around where they were comparing this one kid who is still on Facebook, who's a convicted pedophile. He's still on Facebook, but they banned Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yep. Obviously, something ass backwards about all this. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah. So you can't. So you're not allowed to defend yourself. You're supposed to allow the left to kick your ass, and potentially try to kill you,
or rape you. Apparently,
or rape you. But if you rape children, oh no, you're perfect. Welcome to the tribe. You want some peanuts? Here, let me take you to Burger King so you could get a nice burger. You want a kid meal? I know you want a kid meal. Like, what the fuck?
I don't even know. It's a wacky existence. What's going on here?
Can someone tell me how the fuck that works? Like,
I mean, what?
Like,
what? It becomes a question of what can we do about this? And I mean, in my situation, not enough people knew what I was dealing with for 15 months in court.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really have that great of a defense, even though I tried to expose all this stuff. But I think if, spreading knowledge about this stuff, the networks, the information, about how this is happening, what kind of people are involved with this, who might, legitimately might be one of these people.
Like, who is your lawyer?
More people being aware of this is definitely going to help.
Yeah.
Make it safer to expose this stuff.
Like, but who is your lawyer? Mike Hunt? Michael Hunt? He goes by Mike?
Yeah. Well, they got me out of going to jail. That's all I know. That's a whole other subject. But I'm thankful for that much. But it was one of these cases where it's like, you know what? I could have had all the evidence in the world to defend myself, and I still would have got convicted. I mean, when the police officer that's in court is the same officer that was on ground when you were arrested, I mean, it just, and they all know the family members and stuff like that. It's like, how do you get out of that situation?
You don't.
You don't. This is not New York City court where they dismiss cases and, like, you actually, I got to tell you, I've had better luck dealing with New York City court than I had with small town corrupt court. Because at least with New York City court, I actually had the potential of winning.
Yeah.
Whereas a small town court, you're taking a plea deal, or you're getting railroaded.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, because, I'm in a situation where I just, I was up against an uphill battle. My prospect of winning that case were not as strong as it could have been.
Yeah.
Under normal circumstances, it probably could have beat that case, but this was not normal circumstances.
Right.
And these people I was dealing with were not normal people.
Right.
In many ways.
Yeah.
But that's why it's important that we expose these things and share this information with people so that enough people are aware these type of situations are occurring, are real, do happen closer to home than we realize.
Yeah.
And hopefully people will be out there to help those people out who are in need of help when fighting this battle.
So
that's the best I could say for that. I mean, other than taking action, which you could end up putting you in jail, if it's, depending on what action here.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily recommend that for a lot of reasons.
All right. Well, I mean, so the moral of the story before we close out is, if you are a virtuous pedophile and you don't want to offend, kill yourself. If you want to stop pedophilia, kill a pedophile. Pedophile lives do not matter. And we have to protect our children at all costs, even if it means going to jail. Because fucking kids is not natural. Having sex with minors is not natural. It is not normal. It should not be normalized. Leave kids alone.
Leave those kids alone.
Hey, pedo! Leave those kids alone.
Exactly.
Hey, all in all, we're just another dick on the wall. What? Damn it.
I mean, there are solutions to all this, and we keep exposing it. We keep educating the public. Trump, like I said, from what it appears, it seems like he's gotten a lot of pedo rings off the street with his administration. So obviously that's one of many reasons to support his administration at this time.
You want to know
if he's doing that?
You know what would really do it? You know what would really do it? And everyone should write their congressman, their senator. They need to have a federal law that makes pedophilia a capital offense. It has to happen.
The only way you're going to have that happen is we almost need to reinstate the House of Un-American Activities Committee to get all these communists out of influence.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I would argue that we should be writing our congressmen and senators and demanding that institution be reinstated.
Yeah.
Because communism really has become an insidious plague on this country to the extent where it's influencing mayors and governors to shut down our society and destroy everything we have.
God damn it.
And they're protecting pedophiles. So yeah, you get the commies out of control of everything, and I'm sure all this stuff will start straightening itself out.
Yeah.
Because it's going to have to.
It has to.
Nobody in their right mind wants this.
Like who?
But it's a psychological tactic. They're going to convince us that this is normal and par for the course, and they're going to make us second guess ourselves. Like, wait, is it really?
Yeah.
That's the goal. No, I'm not going along with it.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I already fought against this shit in person.
Yeah.
And so I definitely not going along with it. But unfortunately, like I said, so I didn't cop out per se. I just had no choice. I had to accept the plea deal that was offered to me because the person I was standing up for, the father, he couldn't stand up for himself. And at that point, I didn't have a choice. I had to back out of it because I wasn't going to go to jail for nothing. It's like you got to lose a battle if you want to win the war sometimes. So I took a step back from that situation so I could hopefully win the war in a different way. So I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough call. People can always tell you, "Oh, you should have just stuck with it the whole way." But you know what? You put yourself in a person's shoes and see what the situation's like. Would you really be willing to go through all the things I had to go through? I don't know. Luckily, it could have been so much worse. So luckily, it wasn't. But we just gotta expose us. We gotta brainstorm solutions as people in the American nation, so to speak.
I'd like to thank everyone for listening to today's show. And as always, from my house to your house, mahalo.
That's the end of my show. Donk.
Hope you're alright. It's been rough.